So the second thing that happened was that I tried to get a transfer from the school. Now people think that transfers are easy things to get. Let me tell you now that they are not. To get a transfer to a denominational school, you have to first make a normal job application to the school administration and to the denominational board of that school. And if you are trying to get into a government high school, you have to find someone who has your exact qualifications, who teaches exactly what you teach, and the person is willing to switch positions with you. So you will take a position in that person's school, and the person will take the position in your school. It was very hard-pressed finding such a person. People who specialize in two academic streams, that's very hard to find. That's number one. And number two, I did find one young lady who worked on the other side of the country, who lived on this side of the country, who, interestingly, was my academic equal. She was capable of teaching because she had the same type of, double degree. She was capable of teaching what I taught. But when I started to tell her exactly what I taught, she politely told me, I'm not interested anymore. Thank you, but no thank you. Nobody wants to be overworked. Nobody wanted to pick up the position that I had. Even the school tried to get me a transfer, so that an administrator called me and told me, listen, there is a position in another school, and I spoke to the principal, and you can go over there if you want. Now, the person was, of course, trying to get me out of the school because everyone who could observe, everyone with eyesight, everyone besides Ray Charles could see that it was not working out. And the person said, you can go over to that school. But that school was right head on into 2 and 3 hour traffic every morning. And that came after about 4 years. So I was so tired that I couldn't see myself getting up earlier than 4 a.m. and sitting down in 2 and 3 hours of traffic, because I would start to reach late, and for that they can fire you. They couldn't fire me because I was doing my job. They couldn't fire me because I was reaching to school, relatively well on time and doing my work. They could say that I had an absenteeism problem because that was because I was so tired and getting sick. But they couldn't say that I was not doing my job or that I was reaching late. And I thought that I would put my children's food in jeopardy again by taking that particular transfer, and I therefore declined it. So, realizing that, I'm sort of trapped, I decided to try to get another job. And people who are young won't appreciate that in the days before computers, you had to have a typewriter to type out job applications. You had to, put them in an envelope with a stamp and mail them, in the normal land postal service. And if they wanted, and most, job application processes demanded that you hand deliver the application. So there I was, having everything to do still, everything I mentioned that I had to do. Here was I on afternoons typing up job applications from the newspapers and hand delivering them to different places, only to get interviews, to realize that the private sector, the salaries were not commensurate with the salary that I was getting in the teaching service. And that again threatened my children's food. So I sent out hundreds of applications every evening, driving, looking for parking space, to walk to a place to deliver an application, for it to not get any response, or for it to get a response in the negative, or to get an interview, to be told that, for 2 years I would have a very reduced salary while I train on the job. It was very difficult because they told me while I have 2 management degrees, what I did not have was management experience. Remember, I was a teacher, and I also had to put that on my resume. I don't know what happened when they called the school to ask about my work ethic. Who knows what they were told? I don't. The bottom line is that I was somehow not experienced enough for senior management positions, and junior management positions drew half of the salary that I was getting as a teacher. So it was a rock and a hard place. My children's food was in jeopardy, so I decided that I would prove my management acumen. So as a side hustle, on top of all the work I had, I opened a training company. So I told myself, well, I'm getting tired, I'm getting sick, but if I can push through this period and, do the best you can, then you'd be able to get a management position, you would, get a commensurate salary, and everything would be fixed. And I trained tourism industry personnel in tour operating, historical tours, eco tours, industry tours, and I did that on Saturdays and Sundays, outside of the normal school work that you had to do on Saturdays and Sundays. Unfortunately, that did not help the work situation. They're probably telling themselves that as they were looking at me, we are giving you so much work up and above what you're supposed to have, and you're still trying to train people on the side. Nah, man, you need more work.